Our next speaker is Dato who is a clinical dietitian who graduated from Metropolitan University in London and then trained as a clinical hypnotherapist. He has much experience working with the Ministry of Health in Malaysia, academia, and the private sector. She's able to apply her skill set to enhance her practice and will customize the care to suit the needs of her inpatients and outpatients based on age, clinical condition, complexity of psychological issue, and category of hypnosis required. The title of the talk is Nutrition for the Brain and When the Brain Matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, for introducing me. First of all, I would like to thank the three strong hypnotherapy associations. There are the British Hypnotherapy Association, the Malaysian Hypnotherapy Association, and the Asia Pacific Hypnotherapy Association for organizing this very special hypnotherapy conference, which is the second one. And all who have attended the last one, we got good feedback that they've enjoyed themselves. And here we are again. And time has passed so fast that today is already coming to the end of our second day. Yep. Okay, I will just on my slides. Okay, my talk is nutrition for the brain, when the brain matters. Okay, now the brain is a very powerful organ. It can do wonders. And if we steer in a certain direction, it will affect our actions. And if we think positive things will result. And if we think negative results. And therefore, the brain has got certain parts. And as you can see, every part of the brain is so special, but holistically, the brain is a very special organ. Now, what do you wish for in your life? Some will say longevity, long life, quality of life is very important. And some will say if you have quality of life, if you have longevity, but if you do not have quality of life, then life is not very meaningful. And we also need to look at the optimal health at every age of the person. Now, many people will always think about their income, their salary. How do they fulfill the needs of the brain? How do they fulfill the needs of your stomach? What about your travel? Going places within your budget and means? And how do you minimize your stress? So hypnotherapy is very much on helping people to relieve their stress, to have relaxation, and to be contented, be happy, and have a joyful life. Now, I would like to say that today's presentation is about the connection between nutrition and the brain. Now, to look at having a good brain, optimal brain, we got to start to look at starting life, and starting life with breast milk. Babies are so wonderful. It is best to give breast milk to your babies and not formula milk, because breast milk is the best gift that we can ever give to our children. And it has got antibodies, antioxidants, which you do not get in the formula milk. And you can carry a baby wherever you go if you are breastfeeding. Going to the park, meeting up friends. So breast milk is the best if you are looking at good nutrition at the start. So I want to share with you some nutrition tips to improve your health, both for health and for wellness. Now, if you look at the statistics across the world, obesity is on the rise. In the early days, people were undernourished. They don't have enough to eat in the many decades ago. But today, people are eating too much. And when they become overweight, this gives rise to a lot of chronic diseases which become a problem these days. Now, do you live to eat or do you eat to live? A very important question for us to think about. Sometimes we eat every day, but we forget what is the purpose in life. Now, nutrition across the lifespan, I'm looking at across the ages, starting from breastfeeding, which I mentioned is the best milk for babies, moving on to the toddler, the children, teenager, adult, and geriatric. Now, those of you who have children can understand this lifespan very well. So when you have a baby, you just want to see your baby grow up and until they reach the stage of geriatric. Just want to share with you, in a few decades ago, this model of a pyramid has been there and still around, but now they have changed it to a plate presentation, as a plate, because some people can associate better eating from a plate. But of course, it doesn't matter, like the Chinese, the Japanese, they will eat from a bowl. So when there is a pyramid, what it's trying to say that the very top are foods which are very high in calories, like the sugar, the fat and all that, which we have to be very, very careful. We must not overeat, because when you talk about nutrition for the brain, we have to refer to the calories that you're eating. You have to eat the right amount of calories for your age, and especially with WHO, they will look at your height. What is the weight for your height? And this is very important, because if you are overweight, then you will run into having a lot of chronic diseases. For example, a very common one is diabetes. You may get hypertension and others. Now, I like this picture of the steps, climbing the stairs. It is so important for us when we are eating to match our calories with your energy expenditure. A lot of people do not exercise enough for the food that they are taking, and therefore we should try and put exercise into our lifestyle. It is recommended to exercise daily, but if you can do it alternate days, it's better than not. So exercise, for some people they talk, oh, if I'm fat, then I should exercise. If I'm not, then I don't have to. No. Exercise is for cardiovascular fitness, to make your heart healthy, reduce your risk of cardiovascular diseases, and also to make you fit. I'd like to share with you about nutrients in the food. Now, when we eat food, we get macronutrients and we get micronutrients. Now, macronutrients, we are referring to protein. The protein can be animal protein, vegetable protein, the fats. There are also various types of fats, and the carbohydrate. Now, these three will contribute calories. But if you are, say, taking a lot of micronutrients, they do not really directly contribute calories, but they are needed to make you healthy. And for micronutrients, we have vitamins, the A, B, C, D, and all that, the various mineral salts, the phenols that come a lot from vegetables and fruits, especially all the colors, and the antioxidants. Now, these are the nutrients that we have to ensure that we have enough every day. Now, some people may ask about supplements. Do I need to take food supplements? Now, if you are eating healthily with all the macronutrients, micronutrients, you do not really need it. But if you are not eating well, some people just do not eat very well. They might be eating a lot of junk food, food which do not contribute good nutrients, and then therefore they can take supplements. But if you are taking supplements, you have to be very careful. Do not overeat. Excessive supplements may not do good to your body, but instead it can be harm. Some people will take all the vitamins, all the minerals, each having an individual capsule or a tablet. Now the types of diet, if we are very concerned about our health and we are very concerned that we want to eat healthily for our brain, now first of all we're going to look at a balanced diet. In the picture earlier that I showed all the various kinds of food, having a balance between protein, fat and carbohydrate refers to being a balanced diet. But besides that, it is important to have a healthy diet. A healthy diet, in this generation, we're looking at people who are always consuming too much calories. So a healthy diet will need to take note of not having too many calories and having the right kind of nutrients by proportion. Now, low calories for people who want to lose weight. There are some people who want to lose weight, but they don't eat properly. So therefore, when they lose weight, they start to get various diseases cropping in. For example, like gastric problems, not eating at the right time, eating foods which do not give good nutrients. Now there is a term called low carb diet. These are some of the new words that came up. And some people tell themselves that I'm going to eat a very low carbohydrate. Carbohydrate refers to like bread, the cereals, the rice and all that. And when they eat a very low carbohydrate, so what they are ending up with, they have to increase their protein and they're going to increase their fat. Because as I mentioned, if your food contains protein, fats and carbohydrate, then only you will get calories. If the food you are eating do not contain any protein, fat and carbohydrate, then you do not get calories. Now, designing a diet is not easy. I know many people think they are eating healthily, but actually they are not. And if you are not sure, then it's best that you consult a professional who can guide you, who can tell you how much of each food that you should eat. And there's another word called keto diet. Yeah? Keto diet is like similar to a low carb. Again, you end up having to increase your protein and your fats, and sometimes you might gone the wrong way. Mediterranean diet is a diet that helps people who really need to look at their cardiovascular diseases and also their hypertension. Next one is a DASH diet. It's dietary approaches to stop hypertension. Nowadays, there are a lot of people having cardiovascular diseases, having hypertension, and these actually also form what you need for a healthy diet for the brain. So having a healthy diet for the brain is not a diet that you can just eat and it feed your brain very well. You still need to look at the holistic diet, the balanced diet, the healthy diet, not having too many calories. As you know, calories come from mainly the sugar and also the fat. And there's an Okinawan diet, which is very popular among the Japanese. The Japanese, especially those who live on the islands in Japan, research has been done to show that when they live on the islands, they actually consume a lot of marine fish, and that is very healthy because they have protein, but a lot of like omega-3 And also for people in Japan, they actually do a lot of walking. They have little clusters of people who they will gather together and they will communicate with one another. And sometimes when they see some did not turn up for their gatherings, they will then walk many kilometers to go and visit the person. This is about the Japanese culture. Another one is the Nordic diet, a diet that's very popular in the Scandinavian countries like Norway, Sweden. Again, their diet are very unprocessed, less of processed food, and therefore processed food in the long term, actually you consume a lot of salt, a lot of unneeded nutrients. Now when it comes to cooking, it is important to choose healthier cooking methods. As I mentioned, like for cardiovascular, if you consume a lot of fat, a lot of meat with fatty meat, you will tend to get hypertension, cardiovascular. So cooking methods are very important. You need to choose foods, can be like steam, you can use your microwave, you can use non-stick pan on the grill, which you do not use a lot of oil. And for those who like fried foods, very important for you to use less oil, very little oil, and therefore your calories will not be increased. Now fish is actually a very good protein. Fish is very high in protein, yes. They're lower in fat, lower in cholesterol. And they are rich in vitamin A and D. Very high in the omega-3 kind of fatty acids, high in the EPA, DHA. And therefore, some people nowadays eat a lot of meat and chicken. And these tend to be high in cholesterol, fat as well, especially children. In the new generation, we find that children just like to eat chicken. They don't like fish. And as parents, it's good for you to educate your children to start to like fish, and all the way through their growing years. So these are some of the food preparation. Even like if you fancy a burger, nothing wrong with eating a burger, because the burger, the buns contain carbohydrate. But you got to put in vegetables, you got to put in the meat, the flesh of the fish. You can have a fish burger, you can have a chicken burger, and all these marine food are very healthy. Like I mentioned, they have omega-3, which is very good for the heart. This is another group of food, which are the pulses, the beans. Very good.
Dr. Tan, can you hear me? Sorry, I got to interrupt you. The crowd is saying that your volume is a little low. So maybe you could try to speak up a little, I believe, and speak closer to the mic. I think you'll be good to go.
Okay, thank you for telling me that.
No problem, Dr. Tan, no problem.
Okay, now these are the pulses and the beans and all that, which are very good because they are very high in protein and very good for people who are vegetarian. Yeah, because vegetarian, they cannot take meat, but they can take pulses. And you can cook them in many ways. You can actually make soup, you can make even putting in salads as well. Very good. Now these are nuts. Nuts are also, there are many types of nuts like walnuts, different legume kind of nuts, and they also have very high in antioxidants, and they can be used in your salads, they can be used in your dishes. You can do many ways. Now this is a very colorful slide, the fruits and the vegetables, and when talking about colors actually contain a lot of phenols, a lot of antioxidants, and very good for your heart, good for your brain too. And therefore it is mixing your dishes, mixing your recipes, that will make you feel that you are actually getting all the required nutrients. Even when you are making juices, it is good for you. If you are blending them, you don't throw away the fiber. Vegetables and fruits are very good because of their fiber. So when you blend to make juices, don't throw away the fiber. You blend together and then you drink the whole juices. Okay? These are fruits again. It doesn't matter what fruits, which country you come from, always go for variety. Always go for colorful fruits because they are providing you all the various nutrients that your body requires. Now, psychological issues. When we talk about the brain, now, the stress of life, especially now with COVID, many are actually having high stress. Now, various people have high expectation even throughout the lifespan. Children also have high their parents have very high expectation of their studies. They're expected to do well. And in school, they sometimes become disappointed. School children nowadays become disappointed with their friends. They get stressed. Poor temperament can lead to a lot of problems of stress. So we need to be calm, be cool and relaxed. Anxiety is creeping up. Nowadays, people are getting depressed. And how do we handle this? In the first talk, if you recall, Dato Andrew talking about people committing suicide. As hypnotherapists, we have a lot to do. We are very much needed to help people during this time of pandemic. People getting very stressed, depression, having risk of suicide. And therefore, as hypnotherapists, we need to get them to think positive besides reducing their stress. And there is much work to be done by us. Now the brain, when we communicate with people, we got to understand that the various types of people with different presentation of brain, the balanced brain. The balanced brain is a brain that makes you quite a fair, balanced person. And the spontaneous brain are people who tend to do things very spontaneously, and they get stressed as well. They don't plan very well, and they just do things at the spur of the moment. Some have a persistent brain, a brain that they are very strong-minded. They want something and they will go for it. And when they don't achieve, they become very disappointed, stressed, and there goes all the problems that they face in life. Then we have a sensitive brain. Now some people are very sensitive. They are not calm. They just get anxiety. They get anxious very easily because they are sensitive. And the fifth one is the cautious brain. People who are very careful. It is good to be careful, but if you are too cautious, you may run into problems like people with OCD. They tend to be very cautious about this and that, cleanliness. They are just overdoing. Now, I would like to now share with you, give you a little experience about hypnotherapy. And then this is about food. Yeah? So I'm going to ask all of you to just go into a relaxation.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm now going to give you a little experience of hypnotherapy about food. Yeah, and I hope you can hear me clearly and can flow along with me. So I would like to ask you to feel relaxed. Yeah, we are going to feel relaxed. Now, think about food. Think about your favorite food now. I want you to bring to your mind your favorite recipe, your favorite dish. Now, at this time of the day, coming from 3 associations where people from UK is a different time zone, people from Malaysia, a different time zone, and also Asia Pacific. Now, whichever country you come from, I want you to just think about a dish, a food. I give you a few minutes to just bring to your mind a plate and put it in front of you. It can be your favorite food. Best if you can imagine the different nutrients in your food, the various types of food. So I would like to ask you again, do you eat to live or do you live to eat? Now, eating can be an art, and eating can be a gourmet. So as you set the picture of a plate of food in front of you or a bowl of food in front of you, now when you set your principles of eating correctly, you will enjoy your foods more and enjoy them greater than you ever imagined possible, without feeling guilty. When you eat, focus all your attention and spend a few moments observing your food. So just allow yourself to think about the meal, think about the plate of food, think about the bowl of food in front of you. Now, firstly, look at the combination of food items or the choices you have selected. On your plate in front of you, do you see a well-balanced meal that you have prepared for yourself? Are there carbohydrates like rice, potatoes, and bread? Are there protein like the fish, the chicken, meat and eggs? Are there fat or oil? It's okay to have a bit of oil or fat in your meal, but watch the amount. Avoid too much oil, because if you are overweight, you then will run into having chronic diseases? Are there vegetables and fruits which are going to give you the vitamins and the mineral salts and the phenols and the antioxidants? Now this combination will make them a balanced meal. Now look closer at the colors of the food. Do you see the various mixture, the variety, and the food that you like? Notice the textures, the aroma, and inhale deeply. Concentrate on your taste buds, on your tongue, and how they are stimulated by each tiny bit of the food that you bite. Now chew your food slowly, several times. Move the food around in your mouth slowly with your tongue before finally swallowing it. Enjoy each mouthful. And try to tell yourself how fortunate you have with this meal, with so many nutrients to nourish you for today. So, therefore, when you are looking at nutrition for your brain, we understand there are several parts of the brain. Now, eating nutrients for the brain, it cannot be in a manner of to this part of the brain or to that part. It has to be holistic. And as I mentioned, that it has to start from young, starting from the baby stage, going on to the toddler, the teenager, going to the adult. And then as you age, when you reach your geriatric age, you will be a healthy person with minimal diseases. And as you know, when we age, there may be a risk of having dementia. And studies have shown that people with dementia have also a high risk of having Alzheimer's diseases. And you want to grow old healthily, and you want to grow old with minimal diseases. You want to just enjoy your old age. And therefore, tell yourself that you want to every day plan your diet, plan your meals, so that you can eat all the nutrients that your body requires and eat healthily. And tell yourself you can be blessed every day by planning your meals well and giving yourself prime attention for nutritious foods that will be good for your body as well as your brain. Okay, with this I say thank you, and just want to say that when we talk about nutrition, it is eating holistically, yeah, and also watch and prepare your food to suit your appetite, but wisely. Okay, any questions?
Thank you, Dato Tan.
Thank
Made
you.
some of us very hungry.
Oh, and it's the time of the day as well.
Okay, actually, we do have a lot of questions, but due to the time constraint, we will be actually listing those questions and sending them to you. Actually, there are a lot of questions with specific reference to different types of diet programs, and lots of questions there. But to be able to carry on time, so we will be sending you the questions.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Dato, nice.
I look forward to the questions and look
Thank
forward to
you.
helping. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.